Minecraft, a game of infinite possibilities. If you're like me, you probably grew up on Minecraft. Maybe you strive to build the best creative worlds ever, or maybe you enjoyed the challenge of survival. However the playstyle, in Minecraft there is only one truth. The world is your canvas. Now, some people have taken that to the next level. Though you have infinite possibilities in Minecraft, the game is still somewhat limited. For example, most vanilla players beat the game in about a week if they're dedicated enough. You go explore, find a cave, eventually get diamonds, go to the Nether, and fight the Wither and the Ender Dragon. Maybe you even go and max out all of your gear with netherite in a trading hall. Maybe you complete every achievement in the game. But after that, what next? Maybe you'll go to the next world. Maybe you'll build a large city. Once again, the world is your canvas. You can build or destroy as you please. But eventually, the world gets old. You decide to leave and never return, going on to the next challenge. After all this, the game is starting to get boring. So let's say you download some mods. Now you've opened up a whole new world of things to do. There's hundreds of new items, bosses, and more. But even then, it may take much longer, but you end up doing all there is and leave forever. Now let's say you start playing with friends. Maybe you make a private SMP or you start grinding high-pixel skyblock. Now you've unlocked the full potential of Minecraft. Let's take a bit longer to talk about these. High-pixel skyblock takes all the weaknesses of vanilla Minecraft and blows them out of the water. What you once thought to be a world you can complete and never touch again becomes a constant grind, challenging you to get stronger at every point, coming from rags to riches. And once you think you've hit your peak and that you'll never be able to reach this level again, a new update comes out, causing you to need to get back to the grind all over again. Most people say the grind of HPSB is horrific, which it is. But the concept that it brings is not. Infinite play. It's many game developers' dreams to allow for true infinite play. There are two parts to this concept. The first part is that the game is challenging enough that the player needs to play a good bit for things they want to be done easy. This makes for hundreds of hours of playtime, and if cards are played right, most of those hours will be hours the player enjoyed. The idea is that when players think they've hit their limits in the game, you add new challenges that will make them even stronger while still seeming appealing. This is something very hard to do, but for people with the patience, HPSB is perfect for them. Now, this is all well and good, but there is a second part to infinite play, and that is automation. Developers will never work on a game forever, and that is a prime reason why games die. Now, what would happen if a game updated itself, adding new features through machine learning and self-reference to make the game generate new things for players to do until the servers go down? The game wouldn't die until the game became uninteresting or the servers went down. Now, this may be a long ways away for advanced games, but how about for a game about blocks and pixels? It still may be a long shot, but it's definitely possible. Now, enough rambling. The premise of this video is SMPs. SMPs have been growing in popularity over the past couple of years, and I started my own. The first 4 worlds were boring and dead, I won't sugarcoat it. However, this time we are going to spend much more time setting up and making sure that we can actually do something on the server. This video series will be showing you the work we have put in to make APcraft World 5 the best version of the server yet. This video series will contain the creation of the spawn hub 15K, as well as other locations where things will happen in the custom mod we are making behind the scenes. Once we create the world and get the mod complete, we will gather a group of players and start playing the SMP, as well as start making content on it. Now let me give you a bit of insight on what will be done. This video will cover making the topography and block texturing of 15K. The next video will touch on building the foliage assets I will place across the map. The video after will go through final touches on foliage and preparing for the location phase. The next video will focus on building the basic locations. The videos after will focus on building the locations in high detail using the Little Tiles mod, which will hopefully have been ported to 1.17 at this point. Possibly after that, I will make a few sneak peeks at the AP mod and server. This is possibly the most ambitious SMP ever created, where not only does the game have a custom starting map, but an exclusive mod with ambitions to change the game's very structure. Playing on this server would be like loading up a new game. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. So like every World Painter build, I started off by making the dimensions. I spent about 10 or more minutes trying to figure out how big the spawn should be, and eventually decided to make it 15,000 by 15,000. I spent a lot of time just forgetting to make one part or another, but it ended up working out. One thing that I did was create the map circular, as you will eventually see. I would not recommend this. It doesn't blend well if you're adding a location to a world like I am. To compensate for this, I'm going to end up only rendering out the parts of the map that I actually need in a square shape. That might make me need to change some of the locations around, but it'll be all worth it in the end. First, I try to start making the main spawn that everyone starts at, but it doesn't take me too long before I realize that I need more brushes. So I go and look up a repository, and now the real fun begins. I start out by just testing out the new brushes and make a few islands directly in the center where you'll start out. I have ideas for a storyline that you must complete before you can go start a nation or explore beyond. Basically, you will spawn in a village and learn a bit about what has happened to the world before you spawned. I won't reveal too much about what will happen when you spawn, because that will be the job of the nations that stream or make videos on their experience. And now onto the exterior nation islands. At first I was just working to make a few interesting locations, but then I decided to leech G Project lore into this too. Like, man, I just can't stopping, huh? So while making Exosia, I decided to link every location to one of the 9 elements. Island Exosia is made in the lightning element, as you will see later on in the video. I decided to make some nice mountains and smaller islands nearby. I also left some nice flat land to build on, where I'll build our base. And now on to the next island. This one is the Energy Island, which has not yet been claimed. The gist of this island is to make something basic in topography but interesting in color. The Energy Island will have a storyline in it that a nation will hopefully explore. One thing I want to try to do is make lore for every location so there's always something interesting going on. The idea behind this one will be to make an abandoned city one more advanced than most of the ones you'll find in 15K. The goal is to uncover the story behind why it was abandoned. I won't go into too much detail, but hopefully this will be one of the most interesting arcs in 15K. So right here you can see me take a screenshot of the map and start drawing over it. So here I'm basically just planning out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to stylize each island. So I start with Exosia and Energy, and then I go around and make more that we'll get into later. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's what I'm doing. I'm just planning out what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this video. After I plan everything out, I get to work on the Earth Island. The plan I have for this one is to make a lush forest, possibly with Japanese inspiration. So most likely I will make custom trees and foliage for this island and make a few Japanese structures to accompany it. Maybe even making a whole town in the style of the Edo period where you learn about the story of the spirit fox. Now, the way that I'm going to go about making the forest will vary a lot. I might make some basic blocks in the mod to build with, or I may make the foliage with little tiles assets I make in the next video. I'm really just not sure right now. Next up, the Fire Island. Basically, I just wanted to make this one and the Darkness Island as uninviting as possible. So, for the Fire Island, I made tons of volcanoes with lava spilling all over the place. One thing I'm thinking about is having an item at the bottom of a volcano. You need to somehow make it through the lava so you can get this item before anyone else. And trust me, it will cause some havoc. Now, the Darkness Island. The Darkness Island is supposed to be an eldritch, ethereal place to traverse and colonize. It's supposed to feel like an oppressive place to be. Likely, here I am going to have a location that spawns a boss called the Nightmare King, which takes ideas from the Wither. Here, I would not recommend sleep. That's all I'll say. So, as you can see here, I spend a lot, and I mean a lot of time, just trying to figure out how to make this singular part of the Darkness Island really work. I probably spent some of the most time on this part of the map, purely because I wasn't having a good time trying to figure out how to get this one part of the map to blend in with everything else. But in the end, I think it ended up being worth it. So I'm not going to really change it, I don't think. This one is the Stone Island. Now, at the start, I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to pull this one off, but in the end, I decided to make this one reminiscent of Dragon Society, which takes some inspiration from Mayan architecture. As you'll see, the island eventually takes the general shape of a dragon, which I might change later because there are a few things I want to change about the map on a later date. So here, I'm likely going to have a story related to dragons and their connection to this world. I'll likely have a lot of dragon-related things in AP Craft, like finding companionship with one and going to battle with it. Now, as you can see, I start backtracking and going through all of the previous islands that I made and putting in lava and water just to figure some things out and making lakes and stuff like that, so it's not just one flat plane when you're going around in the map. Now I start creating the water island. My plan at the beginning was to make a large hole in the water, somewhat like fictional depictions of the Bermuda Triangle. I play around with that at the start, but you'll soon see that this ended up not working out for me. After I decide that's not going to be the way to do this, I reset this area and start creating islands. The brush I used had more of a round shape instead of the usual imperfect and random shape that land usually takes. I used the brush to make a bit of a main island, and then eventually go around making a bunch of smaller islands to accompany it, since the main island is smaller than the islands of other elements. I also start making a few water passageways through the main island and hollow out the mountain I made. I also make some layered flatlands for building on, whether I decide I'll be the one to build on it or if I'll leave it up to the players. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to have on this island, but if I decide to build on the island, I'll make a fishing town and build from there. Now I start working on the light island. So my idea for this one was to make some sort of fallen society aesthetic combined with a little bit of heaven. So when making the map, it looks just like a slight bit different from the others with large dunes and a big mountain. The real magic happens when I start texturing it. So with this island, I wasn't totally sure what I wanted to do. Now, I've been editing most of this video in a Discord call. A friend was helping me come up with ideas, and we ended up deciding that I wanted to do a Roman/Greek Fallen Empire aesthetic. This will have a wide range of things to do, including an underground temple where you will fight a group of new mobs called Spartans. Defeating these will give you a wide range of loot and will allow you to progress in the Light Island story. Last but not least, I create the Air Island. As of right now, I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do in terms of storyline. That being said, there's always floating islands and stuff like that, so I'm sure it won't be hard to come up with an arc. In terms of physical design, it's just another basic island. I'll figure out what I want to do with it eventually. So now I start going back around the map and doing a little bit of cleanup. There's not anything really specifically going on in this part, but I just wanted to say that this is just a little bit of cleanup and stuff, so. And there you have it, the topography of 15K 15K. It ended up taking about 3 hours and 50 minutes to create the whole thing, so the fact that I got that into like 13 minutes is kind of amazing. So don't leave yet, because we have a little bit more before this video ends. So I start off by just covering spawn in sand, which I didn't mean to do it like this. I ended up actually just making it so it only goes up to a certain height. And now I just start covering every island with a base beach. So I go around the entire map, and then I actually make a custom mix of blocks to put on the dark and fire islands, because they're just so special like that. You already know. So it takes me a minute to figure it out because I'm trying to put Blackstone on one, and so I have to find the ID and do all that kind of stuff. So it ends up taking me a good bit of time figuring that out, but eventually I get it working, and it actually does end up working in the final result. I can't say as much for the shroom lights on the fire island, I believe it was. Or I think it was actually the light island, but who's talking? So I make a second one to put on the dark island. I end up getting Blackstone on there, I believe, and then I just cover the dark island in this new texture that texture that I ended up making. And then I make one for the fire island, which doesn't take as much because really it's just a few blocks that have already been in the game for a while, so I just cover that for the islands in the game. And then I actually end up covering up then I end up making the desert for the fire island. And then I just go back to covering everything else in sand. You know, just the usual making a world painter map. Now, after this, the real fun begins. So now I start making some more custom materials that I'm going to place over here. And I start at the light island. And I really had fun with the light island because I found it really interesting to work with. I actually had a lot of fun making the light island, and now I'm just covering everything in cobblestone because I need to cover that in grass again once I do that. It's mainly for the mountains, but then I get back to the fire island. I make another custom material for the fire and dark islands, cover both of them and all that, and then I get back to the other islands, just cover all those in stone, and then I do the same for the water island. Basically just the usual stuff that I do when I make a world painter island. And then I get back to the light island, which here you see me do my usual trick that I was gonna do, but I actually had to end up covering it in stone, which nope, actually we're at the spawn, I believe. And then I just cover, well, wherever we are, I start doing my usual where I cover the mountains in a layer of grass, and then I cover it in stone, which here I ended up actually doing grass, stone, grass instead of stone, grass, stone. I think that's right. But I ended up having to play with it a little bit because that's not how I usually do it, and that's not how I recommend doing it. I recommend putting grass on stone instead of stone on grass because it works a lot better, in my opinion. And now I go on to my next map. This one is the energy island, I believe. So I basically just do the same standard procedure. Energy Island doesn't really have that much going on. I'll double back around on some of these when I get back to it, but mainly I'm just trying to do the normal stuff that I always do when I'm making a map for now. But soon I'm going to go and double back around and make everything a little more advanced later on, like you saw on the light island. And here, I'm really just trying to get these slopes down on the Earth Island because I made one island with a bunch of slopes. And now I'm back over at the Stone Island. Nope, I went over to another little smaller island. The smaller islands are also important because you don't want just big land masses without smaller islands. It doesn't end up looking as good. So now I'm actually on spawn. So I'm working on spawn here, and I'm already done with that, so we're going on to the next one, wherever that may be. I actually end up working on the volcano near spawn. That doesn't take very long. Just a few more islands near spawn, just making sure all of those are all nice and done up. And then I go over to air. I start doing the air island here. Air island doesn't really have anything special about it as of right now. And now I'm over at the light island, which here I decided to do something a little different. I end up making a custom material for the light island and basically make a bunch of kind of like a sandy desert area, but not exactly because it's sandstone and endstone. So it's a little bit different. But then I also cover it in my I also cover it in my light thing that I made. So then I take a screenshot of the light island to send to my partner in crime. And then I work on the stone island. That's pretty normal. I wanted the stone island to look normal, but the only difference is that there's massive mountains. I might end up making a crystalline area with a lot of spikes and stuff, but who knows at this point. And then I go over to... what is this? This is the air island, actually, I believe. So I actually did end up doing something a little bit special to the air island. I ended up covering it in a few... ended up covering it in a little bit of a thing. Okay, so now I'm at the lightning island, and I start covering it in this energy type mass, kind of similar to the light island, and now I am rendering it. And the render ended up taking like about an hour or so. So yeah. All right, well, I just loaded in the I just finished rendering and loading in the world. It took absolutely forever. So I'm just gonna go in here and just take a look-see here just to see if everything is good so far. And then I will, hopefully tomorrow, I will be able to start working on making the custom assets. But I can't make any promises because I'm going to be very busy after today. So I just wanted to get this first little bit done so I could actually see like what this looks like. Also, this is 48 billion blocks in total, and it's not even like completely finished yet. So yeah, that's crazy, and it took an hour to render, but whatever. Let's why did I click create backup? Now it's gonna take absolutely forever. Okay, well, have fun. All right, this is it. This is the world. This is it. This is where you would spawn. This is very cool. This map is absolutely massive. I made an entire 15K by 15K map. Exactly 15,360 blocks in diameter. No, 15,360 block radius. Yeah, this is it. This is the one. Yeah, here it is. Here's the mountain, and here's where it actually really gets going. Is that it? Is that the mountain? That's the mountain. It's huge. Now there's a specific set of locations that I like actually want to go to, and that is the lightning. That's the lightning island, the light island, the water island, the dark island, and the fire island, because those all have like special things to them. Oh, there's... Oh, here it is. All right, this is I just wanted to, oh shoot. I just wanted to like see here to see if it's like if I like this. I do. This looks cool. I'm too fast. What I want to do is I want to find one of the mountains because like... So this is the island where the Exosians are going to base. Lightning Island. Or, well, technically it's called Levinus, but who's really keeping check? Obviously me, but... So where would we build? I don't think I should convey that kind of information on public, on like YouTube. Oh, wait. Here's something. This might be it. This is it. Here it is. Here is... Here it is. I think I ended up getting in like a... This might be a mountain. This is a mountain. So I think I know exactly where I am now. Yeah, I think this is it. This is cool. And then there's also a nearby grassy area. I can try to find that, but I can't make any promises. Well, can't do that then. Oh my god. Okay. Well, it's getting late. I'm gonna have to continue this tomorrow. Alright, see you guys. Alright, so it's day 2 of making the maps. I looked through all of the maps, or like all the locations. Everything looks fine. Everything looks fine in my opinion. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get on to phase 2, which is making all of the schematics for all the different things and stuff. So yeah, if you can understand what I'm even saying, good for you. But I'm actually gonna go grab some lunch first. So yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, yeah, that's it. Bye, see ya.